All right, everybody, welcome back to the American Dota League. We've got Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid for the semifinals. Here tonight with me, of course, is NY John. I am Mott. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to see this matchup. This is one of the sets we've been waiting for a long time, a best-of-5 between two really well-known North American teams, Dignitas and Liquid. And both of these teams playing interesting Dota right now. Dignitas struggling today in their earlier games against Liquid, dropping a series there, but they're looking for the revenge set right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Dignitas struggling earlier. They're having a rough day right now. They're looking to rebound in this best-of-5. Of course, Team Dignitas easily taking care of Smeagol in the previous round in about 3 games. And some of the most interesting games I think you and I have ever seen in our time of casting Dota. There was a game where there's an early level 1 Roche coming up from Smeagol and the immediate 5-man push into one lane. But enough about that for now. We, of course, have the bans of the picks. We have Iowa as well as the Bat Rider going out for Dignitas. Liquid's going to go ahead and ban out the Darkseer and the Jakiro. They're going to grab the Treant Protector. And who better to play that than IX Mike 88?
Yeah, IX Mike loves the Treant Protector. It has been nerfed, but we know that he's still a very strong hero if you get the levels. Because essentially, at level 7, the Living Armor is the same thing that it was previously. So it's a really powerful ability in the early game. However, you can't always bank on getting that experience early on as a support hero. So it's a little bit of give and take, and we'll see just how they're able to make use of it here. I think now more than ever, maybe it's appropriate to apply pressure to a Treant lane if you can find a way to do so without giving too much up in exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. And you talked about that nerf a little bit. It is significant, I think, but at the same time, we saw Liquid run it earlier and with great success, actually, on top of that. And honestly, I've been kind of one of those people who are like, yeah, you know what, Treant Protector, not a big fan. But I got to say, the more and more I watch of Treant Protector, yes, you do have, of course, the Living Armor, but I think that actually promotes more exciting Dota. On top of that, I think Overgrowth is kind of an underrated ability from time to time. It can be a really great ultimate to get off and just really holds people in place. So I don't know. He's starting to come around for me. I'm not sure if you're the same way, John. I don't know how you feel about the hero, but
no, not exactly coming around for me. But he definitely has his perks. But we do see Dignitas with interesting picks here. This is what I like to see. And I didn't even know if you talked about the bans. I wasn't paying attention for a moment.
A little bit, I did.
Darkseer and Jakiro banned out against Dignitas. Who would have guessed? 2 specific bans. Dignitas, last time we saw them, I believe we talked about them trying to bring Chen more into their lineups. This is a good move for them to do, especially now that they're boot camping. It's just an overall fantastic hero. And an Alchemist picked up in the first 2 is an interesting decision as well. Curious to see how they're going to run that.
And, you know, I think that's a smart decision. I think that people are starting to realize that Alchemists can definitely get banned out in those second set of bans. So I think that's a smart pickup from Dignitas. I know that they've ran him previously, and I think that he's a good pickup for them. We'll see how well they can utilize him, what they want to do with him. They'll probably put him in the defensive lane, make sure that he can get that farm going early on, unless they want to send him mid, which I don't think is really what Dignitas likes to do with their style. You already mentioned the Treant and the Weaver going for Team Liquid. I mean, that's exactly what they want to get out of this draft right now. And yeah, you mentioned boot camping. I mean, well, you got Dignitas. They're up in Vancouver, Canada, having a nice little time there, you know, just chilling out in those houses. And of course, Team Liquid, Las Vegas, Nevada, with a pool and a trampoline in the backyard. So who got the better end of that deal? Well, some would argue.
Yeah,
although Team Liquid is playing pretty well, so I can't really complain about that. So
it's definitely a tough decision to make if you're looking for a place to boot camp. But Vancouver, I believe geographically, is a lot closer to Seattle, so maybe that's a perk for Dignitas as well. But we do see some of the other bands come out here. These are interesting bands. Nature's Prophet, of course, pretty typical, but the OD gets taken out. So curious, I haven't seen really Snaking play OD too often, but definitely a hero in general that we prefer, well, a lot of teams prefer to take out of the pool just because of his 1v1 capabilities. And looking for a 4th ban here from Dignitas is going to be that Naga. And Naga is one of those heroes that I think belongs in the 3-4 ban, honestly, because so many teams are able to make great use of it at the 3-4 pick if they find it there. She's just such a great hero overall, so I think this is a good selection from Dignitas to take her out.
And Dignitas is going to go with the Rubik pickup, which is a very smart pickup in my opinion. We saw the Rubik from the side of Dignitas before steal that Treant Protector Living Armor. It can be useful. It can be incredibly necessary to have. So I think Rubik is certainly a smart pickup for Dignitas. Lone Druid going for Team Liquid, so they've got a lot of their core heroes here. I mean, the Weaver, the Lone Druid as well. TC's been known to play a good Lone Druid, so we'll see how that does go for him in the earlier stages and into the later stages of the game. We're going to see Dignitas with a pickup in just a moment. And, well, I mean, I like both drafts right now. I think Dignitas has a little bit more of an aggressive draft here, even though you have the Weaver and the Trio Protector, which promotes aggressive play. However, with the Lone Druid, you can't really get a whole lot done until you get that Entangling Roots up on him, which is, important to get the experience, important to get the levels, and then on top of that, damage is going to be minimal. And with, of course, this Lifestealer pickup coming up from Team Dignitas, that even promotes even more aggressive play on top of that.
Yeah, and one thing I want to bring up, recently Dignitas have been switching out their playstyle a little bit. You used to go a conventional 3, usually something like a Darkseer, a Nature's Prophet, or what have you in that off lane, but they have been starting to give Universe more and more carry heroes to work with, so this could be a Universe lifesteal. We'll see exactly how it works out and who gets on what, but that's something to note, is that Dignitas are trying to integrate that second core carry, which is something Liquid has done all along with TC and Korok being the 2 carries on the team. Dignitas usually just fall back on AUI 2000.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So we'll have to see how they do, of course, decide to throw this around here with Dignitas grabbing that Lifestealer, grabbing the Alchemist as well. Each team needs another pickup here in just a moment. Of course, looks like Dignitas needs to pick up that mid hero. Team Liquid needs to go for another support here in just a moment. We'll see what they want to run. Fluff will probably be the hero that's grabbed here. Fluff's hero, I should say, for the 5th hero spot. We do have some bans here, and that's a smart ban. Ban out that Visage. Make sure that Fluff cannot get that hero. I mean, we all know how good Fluff and Visage are together. And on top of that, though, Visage, played by Team Dignitas, also very strong as well. But definitely a smart ban coming out from the side of Team Dignitas. Looking at Team Liquid, they have a ban as well. And we'll have to wait and see what they want to do here in terms of mid-heroes. The Queen of Pain's already banned out. It was banned out by Dignitas, so I'm not sure what exactly they want to ban out against to puck mid.
Looking at the pool, I'm pretty sure they're going to take out one of the more aggressive mid laners, just taking out maybe the TA, because it's difficult, because Alchemist, of course, could end up in the middle lane. So it's difficult to pick exactly who you want to ban, because Dignitas are pretty flexible in that regard. So I think it's going to be up to just the number 1 hero Liquid don't want to be up against. And then looking for Liquid's support pick, I'd say something along the lines of maybe Leshrac wouldn't be bad, but the Bane and the Shadow Demon are also still in the pool, so they can definitely go for one of those. The Bane, of course, going through Lifestealer and being effective against Alchemist as well would be a pretty solid choice for them in my mind. But Dignitas really have to wait on their pick to determine what they want to put there, because I think Snaking more and more has been playing some of these carry style mid heroes, including the Dragon Knight, including the Alchemist, and even the Templar Assassin more often than he used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's gone Doom and things of that nature. So we'll see how they want to lane this up here in just a moment. When they do pick up their last hero, Team Dignitas, they've got 40 seconds left on reserve time. Plenty of time to really think this one out here. You mentioned, of course, Team Liquid able to pick up that Bane if necessary. I think that might be their best choice of action here. For their supports. I mean, it depends, like you said, on what Team Dignitas picks up last year with their draft. But I gotta say, I'm guessing right now, this is my first prediction, Bane. I'm gonna go with your original statement, and you either said Shadow Demon and Bane, 2 good supports here, but I'm gonna go right now and say Bane for Team Liquid. I'm calling it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I like Leshrac a little bit more, because you do have that extra pushing potential on the lineup that already has a Lone Druid. But ooh, here comes the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, the Spirit Bomb is now in play.
It was not obvious. That's a 3 core. It looks like it is going to be a Universe Lifestealer, and this is very aggressive, greedy lineup for Dignitas that needs to do well in the laning phase. Yeah. These could be dual lanes out again, too.
Yeah, I'd imagine so as well. We'll have to see how it does pan out here. In the event that they do the duo lanes, it's going to be that Alchemist in that top lane and that Chen in the jungle, and then Rubik and like a Lifestealer down bottom, something like that. Is that viable right now? I'm not even sure if that really can work for them. I mean, I think they have to give Alchemist a little bit more room. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, a lot of teams don't take Treant Protector too seriously as a laner, so putting a dual lane up against him, it seems to work out sometimes, and Lifestealer is such a good aggressive laner, being safe in a lot of instances, that it isn't that big of a risk.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Puck beats Storm middle pretty well. It's not as hard as it would seem, but the mobility's lacking, and wow, Crystal made him pick, so they're gonna shore up that bottom lane and try and combat that dual lane head on from Dignitas. So this is a good pick. Crystal Maiden's an aggressive, solid support in laning phase, so they're really gonna try and take the fight to whoever comes down there to help out the Lifestealer.
All right, well, I'm 0 for 1. I predict the Bane. Absolutely nowhere near that. They go for the Crystal Maiden, which they've played from time to time. Certainly a strong pickup as well. A good hero. Frostbite, of course, is really nice stun. The Crystal Nova, nice nuke as well. And with that buff to the freezing field, has made her a little bit of a better player, better hero all around, I think. So we'll have to see how that does play out for Team Liquid. And this is kind of the good play that I like out of Team Liquid, is just these crazy drafts and just, you know, having fun with their drafts, which you saw at a game 2, I think, in the D2L today with the Razor and whatnot. And, you know, they're just going for, you know, a little bit of different variety in terms of heroes. And I think that's really going to help promote just not only enjoyment, but better play as well. Whereas Team Dignitas, this is a standard, I guess, lineup you'd say from them. But we will jump into the game here. This is game number 1 between Team Liquid and Team Dignitas, a best-of-5 series here for the semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on twitch.tv/American Dota League. On the side of Dignitas, we have Universe, like you said, playing that Lifestealer up in the top lane, or I guess mid for right now. Snake King is going to be up on that Storm Spirit. Way Too Sexy going to be playing that Chen. We'll see Fogged on the Rubik, and to round it all out, AUI 2000, AUI 2000 will be on the Alchemist. And John, Liquid's all yours.
Team Liquid, our Radiant team, we have IX Mike playing the Tree and Protector. Fluff and Stuff on the Crystal Maiden. Bulba will be playing Lone Druid. Middle lane, we have TC playing the Puck. And down bottom, we have Korok on the Weaver. And I just like to note that this is continuing the theme of Liquid being flexible in the roles. It's something a team like Rattlesnake does in the Eastern scene, where they're going to bounce back and forth, switching that mid and that carry from time to time between TC and Korok. And I do like that, because obviously some players are just more able with certain heroes than others are, and that definitely is the case sometimes with TC and Korok, despite them being both amazing players.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they do switch that. They have switched that role, that mid role, as well as in, you know, that carry role from time to time since pretty much the dawn of Team Liquid as a team in competitive Dota right now. So, also interesting to note is Bulba really doesn't play Lone Druid, at least from my knowledge, a whole lot. So this is something I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to seeing how he does up against this top lane, which is going to be right now at least AUI 2000 and Fog, potentially with Way Too Sexy up here as well. Universe actually might just go into the jungle and sack that bottom lane, because you see him up here right now, and then of course Snake King can go mid. But if Universe goes in the jungle, no, that's not going to work, because they have Way Too Sexy on the Chen as well. So never mind, forget that. I'm not sure what they're doing with Universe up here, but something should change relatively soon.
I think you're right. I think he's in the jungle, because if you look at his items, these are not long laning items. He's a stout shield
does have
and
that
a quelling blade.
Oh, I don't know why I questioned myself then. I was right on the money.
Don't question yourself at first. You got to stick with your instinct. But I think you're right. They're going to try and split this jungle. It's not the hardest thing to do, and honestly, Chen's probably going to pay more attention to lane and try and get some aggression going on Bulba, so it's not that bad of an idea from Dignitas if they do stick with it, but we'll see what Universe actually wants to do. He doesn't really have all too much region if he's going to go down solo that bottom lane early on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is going to head down there for the time being. We'll see if he wants to maybe think about his decision, go somewhere else. You can see him sitting in the mid lane right now. Potentially wants to go on the side of Fluff here, who's playing pretty aggressively. They know that Bear is out here in the river. The Bear is just scouting things out. Realizes he can't really get a whole lot done, including pulling that wave, at least not yet. Meanwhile, Fluff's going to do some right-click damage here. On the Way Too Sexy, not that's as big of a deal or anything. Universe is going to be staying mid or heading up top for now. I'm not sure. And Korok's going to go ahead and pick up a DD room, which is very nice early on to get that early CS going. He's not going to be harassing a whole lot. There's nobody down here. And yeah, I guess I called it. I mean, they are going to be sacking that bottom lane for now, and it's going to be 4 up in the top lane, including that jungle. They're going to try to take this Bear down. You can see the Bear getting living armored already, and they want to try to take this down as quickly as possible, but it's going to be difficult. As you can see, Universe did not skill open wounds first or anything like that. They're just trying to do as much damage as possible to this Bear, maybe take it down, but I think Bulba is going to get away with pulling here because he has that stout shield. He should be good to go. Oh, the pull only grabs the one creep there. You can see Way Too Sexy was going for it, as well as Fog. So unfortunate, they'll have to let Bulba grab those creeps in AUI 2000. Already taking damage from this creep wave under the tower. He is going to go for Grievel's Greed, realizing he's up against just the Lone Druid, but Fluff is up here as well. So Fluff, of course, going to be helping Bulba out in the top lane for now.
Yeah, and the top lane is going to be an interesting place for them to fight, because Bulba should have a hard time against this 2.5 lane for Dignitas, including the fact that they can bring in Universe if they need to really get things going. I think it is a good idea to have the support up here, since this bottom lane is being sacked as well. But I'd be surprised if Dignitas don't try and push this early on here. I really would like to see them apply a lot of pressure, go for a tier 1 around that 6-7 minute mark, maybe even go for a tier 2. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, it's free for Liquid to choose whatever they want to do with it. If they want to push towards the tower, they run the risk of maybe having that Lifestealer come into the lane at level 3 or 4, and then he might get a little bit extra experience, whereas he normally wouldn't get it, being in the jungle or being forced all the way back in the lane. So it's a little bit of a different decision for them. but top lane certainly would like to see the press from Dignitas.
Yeah, absolutely. On top of that, of course, it is interesting that they decided to have the Crystal Maiden up here. Fluff is rotating down now, looking for maybe that 2-minute rune to spawn in that top lane, because Bulba's not going to get as much experience here with Fluff roaming around, but if he decides to maybe switch out the lanes earlier on, that can give him a little bit more. Treant Protector's going to grab that Invis rune down bottom, so Ix Mike's going to be an Invis tree, just, looking around, essentially. He's not going to find anything. He's going to look to see if he can maybe find anybody stacking these Ancients. He's not going to find anybody there. Snake can get a look for the rune down bottom as well. Not going to find it. Ix Mike maybe looking to right-click him a little bit, but, I mean, only one Hammer Fist would go, and even that would be... Oh, but Fluff is actually going for a smoke right now. They might want to go on mid. As you can see, Snake King might be in some trouble. He doesn't have Ball Lightning yet. He's obviously nowhere near level 6. There's going to be the Leech Seed as well on top of that. The Illusion Orb and, of course, the Frostbite. And Fluff is going to grab that easy first blood. Well done already. Liquid coming out with aggressive play, and they get that first blood, of course, for the side of Fluff. Nicely done coming out from Team Liquid with that smoke gank.
Yeah, amazing play, and that's the problem of running a Storm Spirit mid, of course. He's not that mobile pre-6, and he is susceptible to the ganks. It's similar to a lot of the other mids that we don't see as often, and taking full advantage of it there. So a really good movement by Liquid early on here. It's part of the reason is because Dignitas don't know where their supports are going to be, because obviously they don't need them down bottom. They saw that Crystal Maiden up top initially, but they're able to move pretty freely around, especially with use of that smoke, and Snake King got caught off guard there. And this is a similar theme to what we've been seeing in a lot of Dignitas games recently. Snake King getting caught off guard, playing a little bit forward. That wasn't his fault, but we have to watch him a little bit. He has to play a little bit more conservatively in the middle lanes in some of these instances, and really just avoid any kind of potential situation instead of just actually dropping earlier on, and sometimes it's often as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing I actually wanted to note out here that's important in the top lane, they took down that bear not once, but twice. You can see it's on cooldown now for 103 seconds. So Bulba, he can't recreate that bear for, a minute or so. And that's rough because that is going to be a good way to, get your CS, get the lane pulled like you saw back to your tower. So nice plays coming out. Meanwhile, there's the telekinesis as well. The unstable concoction getting charged. Bulba's going to take that damage. The Centaur Con going to come in with a stop. It's going to miss. That Centaur Con needed to hit that stomp. And, of course, Bulba getting... Oh, he's actually trying to chase after Owie 2000 now. What a greedy play. Too much from Bulba. I'm not sure what he was thinking there, but that is not going to help. What a greedy play from Bulba. Unfortunately, not going to work out in the end. Owie 2000 taking a lot of damage. He's got no regen. He'll back off for the time being, but at the same time, he helps his team get a kill, and an important kill on a lone druid as well.
Yeah, that was just a bad play from Bulba because he still needed 2 auto attacks to finish off Alchemist. So I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking running in there. Maybe he lost control of his hero a little bit or something, but it definitely was a bad decision on his behalf, and that kind of sets them back a little bit in that top lane. It's not all too much of a deal. The bigger deal is not having that bear, so it makes it much more difficult for him to CS. Now the wave is under his tower, and he's missing some of these last hits, which is pretty crucial when you're a lone druid to make sure you take advantage of what's given to you. We did also see a moment ago the rotation to the bottom lane from Universe. He's now level 4, so he's going to probably stick down there just to stay up against the Korok, but Korok at level 6 on Weaver can definitely apply a lot of pressure on him. He already has 36 CS, so he's at the top of the board, and looking at that CS board, you see Puck and Korok both have a distinct lead. Then there's a big drop-off. Alchemist is only at 18. We only see 25 on Snake King. Of course, he suffered a death. And then only 15, which is mostly jungle CS and Lifestealer. So far in the laning phase, it looks like Liquid are pulling ahead by a slight margin on the heroes they want to be ahead with.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 1,000 gold in experience lead at this point in time, and that is, like you said, in large part due to the fact that TC's getting great farm here in the mid lane. I mean, there's not a whole lot Snake King can do right now, not until he's level 6, and even then, TC's got some great damage coming out from the Illusion Orb. He's able to last hit from a distance, and he's also able to harass from a distance, which means Snake King's got to be very careful. In fact, you can see him backing up, getting his bottle, and then he wants to beat. Meanwhile, down to that bottom lane, Universe taking a lot of damage from Korok there. Of course, the Living Armor protecting Korok from Universe's right-click stand, and now Snake King roaming on through, going to throw up that Static Remnant, wants to do some damage to Korok, will in fact do so. That Shikuchi now off cooldown, he's going to use it to try to head out of there, and now Snake King, of course, knows where he's going. That armor is going to be popped. Snake King wants to get maybe that Electric Vortex. It's not going to happen. Roaming up at the top lane, TC's going to grab a haste rune. There's no vision here on the Dire side. It looks like Fluff, of course, leading the way, blocking TC a little bit. The Dream Coil might be coming through in just a second. We're going to have to wait and see. Fogged and Owie 2000 going to back off. There's the Illusion Orb. A lot of damage coming through as well. The Telekinesis, but the Dream Coil going to go on Fogged right now. Fogged getting Frostbited as well, and Silence, and TC's going to pick up another easy kill there. Actually, well, he assisted in another kill, but really that's his first kill, and that's a nice one to pick up. He's actually roaming around, maybe looking for Owie. Of course, that haste is going to wear off in just a moment, but a nice pickup there from TC with that Dream Coil, with the Illusory Orb on top of that.
Yeah, and that play from Fogged was even better, making sure he got the telekinesis off and tossing him backwards prevented AUI from getting caught in the Dream Coil and almost assuredly dying as well. So it was really important support sacrifice there to keep the Alchemist alive. He just picked up his Midas. That would have been a horrible death if he had to go down there because he wouldn't have had enough money to buy back and wouldn't be able to use his first Midas charge until a much later period of time. But now Smoke Gang coming up top, they're going to try and find this Alchemist yet again. And this is a greedy build from Alchemist, and he could be punished in this window of the next 5 minutes or so.
They're going to find Way 2. There's the Crystal Nova. Can they get a Frostbite? Shikuchi's going to keep going for Korok. Way 2's in some trouble. He's not 6 yet. There's going to be the Frostbite. You can see a nice ensnare coming out from Way 2. Is it going to be enough? The Shikuchi's still going. Korok wants his kill. He's going to grab it. A nice dive, but here comes the rotation coming out from Dignitas. They've got 3 heroes here. They at least want to get Fluff or even Korok right now. They're splitting themselves up. There's the Rage. The Crystal Nova as well. Fluff's going to get Living Armor, but he will not survive this for sure. He should go down. Storm will grab the kill, but here comes TC. Korok on the high ground right now. Might have been telekinesis up there. Not sure if he used a time-lapse or not. Meanwhile, what's going to happen? Snaking trying to do some damage there. TP coming in. This time it's going to be from Way 2 again. Korok, he cannot get down. He doesn't have any mana for a time-lapse. That's the problem there. They're just going to right-click him down. Unstable Concoction is going to go. Korok's going to get hit up by that. The Living Armor still going right now. The Fade Bolt. They're just picking on him from the low ground. Korok can't do anything. Snaking's going to grab the kill. A little bit of a clowny play with no mana to, of course, time-lapse up. He will go down.
Yeah, second amazing telekinesis from Fogged in about 1 minute. That was really crucial for them because Korok is able to just Sakuchi in and out, pick off whoever he can find there, and he was applying pressure on that Rubik with a great response and ends up getting clowned on hard, getting thrown up to the high rock. So a great play once again from Fogg so far in this game, and he really is doing a solid job in that support, keeping Dignitas a little bit closer because Liquid are doing a good job of creating some margins on the board so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be important for him to get level 6 as well. Meanwhile, Aoi 2000, he might be in some trouble here. Korok's coming through, looking for that Shikuchi damage, not going to find it. Chemical Rage is going for Alchemist, so he's going to be tough to kill, if not impossible, but nothing's impossible, I guess, when you have a lineup like Liquid's right now. Way too sexy, trying to get 6. In fact, he does get it. He's got Hand of God mid lane. There's the Spirit Bomb going in. The Dream Coil. TC in some trouble. There's the Living Armor. The Open Wounds as well. TC, he's going to use that Phase Shift. Can he get out of there? No, the Fade Bolt. Fog will take care of that. And another good play, him roaming through, securing that kill. And now 4-3 for Dignitas. They're doing okay for themselves, especially with Aoi 2000 farming away. That greedy build starting to pay off. He's got 4 points into Greevil's Greed. He's not getting the most last hits in the world, but he's getting enough, I think.
That bait middle was so good. The Infest occurred out of vision of Liquid, and Snaking just went to the lane and casually started CSing. He didn't jump on the Puck, let Puck initiate on him, and Pop comes out a life stealer, and all of a sudden Puck got destroyed. So an awesome play from Snaking, and that's going to get him much back and getting him some time to farm, but he's going to rotate up top and look for some ganks as all hands on deck from both teams here.
Yeah, they really want to fight this. TC trying to come in, the Unstable Concoction. Nice! John come out, or Phase Shift, excuse me. Fogged in some trouble. Hand of God, not going to save him. There's going to be the Entangle coming out from Mike88 using that Overgrowth. Aoi 2000, he cannot get out of there. Korok doing so much damage. He's going to fall. Double kill for Korok. Nicely done there. And so, Dignitas, they looked for a kill, but the greater good going to the side of Liquid there with, of course, that team fight. And just a really well-executed team fight. TC with an excellent phase shift, avoiding that Unstable Concoction. Aoi had to throw it. He couldn't get it on the target that he wanted, and unfortunately he will go down. Or yeah, so, I mean, nothing he could really do there. Double damage going to go for Snaking, but this top tier 1 going to go for Korok. And that's going to be some nice gold for him. And, well, Storm Spirit not being really a whole heck of a lot of usefulness right now. I mean, he's got some... he's kind of down in the CS. Aoi's down in the CS as well. He was catching up. He was getting that, of course, Greevil's Greed on top of the fact that he had that Hand of Midas going as well. But right now, you could see Dignitas is behind. They've got a 4,000 gold deficit and a 3,000 experience deficit. Liquid, though, playing extraordinarily well. The Overgrowth coming out from Ike's Mike, well-timed there. And Aoi 2000, he might get ganked again. It's Ike's Mike stalking him. There's the blink in. Of course, the Overgrowth, the Dream Coil. Aoi is going to fall. No way that he can stand up to that. Just too much damage coming out from the side of Liquid there. Nicely done. TC, of course, is pretty much all around the map, essentially getting kills, getting assists right now. He's really helping his team kind of secure their advantage here.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Liquid right now, and you're talking about how the concoction had to fly. That was a little bit unfortunate because it is rather easy for Puck to disjoint that with the phase shift, but now bottom lane it looks like there might be some action as they're applying pressure to this tower. They can tussling for their first tower of the game. Storm Spirit on the back end gets in on someone.
Oh,
Courier.
he's looking for the courier, but that's too greedy. Snake King can't get it. He's also going to get entangled by the bear, but Fluff now getting chased in. There's open wounds. Universe wants this kill. He's going to grab it for sure. Spell is stolen. What was it? He got the Crystal Nova. Nicely done for Fog. And now they'll back off, but that's really not that big of a deal. As you can see, they're still farming in mid. They, I think, took the mid tier 1 tower as well on top of that while that was all happening bottom. So, and of course, TC's up to 72 last hits on that puck. 67 going for Korok right now, who's doing very well for himself. Aoi 2000 is just trying to catch up Universe as well, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, and the problem really was that Dignitas, excuse me, when they were running this lineup, they gave up their bottom lane. It was a total sacrifice. So you know that free farm is coming out for Korok on the Weaver. Meanwhile, they didn't get free farm in return on their safe lane. So that's a trade that you can ill afford, to give up free farm and not get it in return. And then the middle lane, of course, we saw what happened with Snaking suffering that early casualty and falling behind a little bit there. So that's what happens when you fall behind in the laning phase with 3 heroes that are really farm intensive, with the Storm Spirit, the Lifestealer, as well as the Alchemist. And Storm Spirit's going to take more farm to be as effective as Puck, because Puck is more so a teamfight facilitator, disable oriented, but Storm Spirit needs a lot of mana to output his maximum damage. So he's going to have to try and find kills probably now. It's a little bit late to try and find an opportunity to CS, especially when they have to give those CSing lanes and opportunities to Lifestealer and Alchemist, bottom lane gank.
Yep, Liquid IX Mike, he's going to throw up his Nature's Guys right now. Is it going to be enough? And looks like they can't find him. Nicely done coming out from IX Mike, realizing, nope, he runs right into his sentry, so never mind. He's going to use the Overgrowth as well as the Living Armor. The Universe still chasing. Nice and Fest coming out as well. They can't get the kill just yet. IX Mike going to throw up another Nature's Guys, and now he should be okay. And he'll wait for his teammates to get here, or at least just one of them. And Bulba's still down to the bottom lane farming, so I guess he doesn't... They don't really care about Mike too much, and that's unfortunate. He's going to try to run through the trees here, and actually the gank is going to stop here. As you can see, Dignitas is heading back to the base Universe and, of course, the side of Snaking. So, they'll be leaving now. Fluff and TC were looking for something done in the jungle. TC's got his dagger, by the way. His Blink Dagger is done. That was a quick Blink Dagger. He's had it for a while, probably, too. If we look at the items real quick, we talked about the Midas already on the side of Aoi 2000, but there is a Midas on Bulba as well. So, Bulba now is starting to get some more farm on top of that. Universe going for the armlet and way too sexy again to try to build up that mech as quickly as possible. Everything else, though, pretty standard. Korok very close to his... I guess I wouldn't say very close, but close to his Lincoln Sphere, which is going to be very nice for him to have.
Yeah, and the most interesting part about that gank on the bottom lane before were the levels. IX Mike is level 8. He's the same level as Lifestealer and Storm Spirit. So that's really not what you want, because we talked about how effective he is gank on the top lane. Korok's in trouble. Living Armor.
He's going to time-lapse away right now. Do they have any vision to catch him, though, is the question. There's a Sentry Ward. Fog stole Shikuchi, so he's going to try to catch up to him. Maybe look for another telekinesis. This is going to be really difficult to get him, and he can't, in fact, do it. IX Mike was there with maybe an Overgrowth if necessary. And now, still 2 more heroes coming up from Dignitas, thinking that there might be some more action there up in that top lane. Not going to happen, however. One thing I wanted to note as well was that Way Too Sexy had a tough time looking for any creeps in the top jungle because they warded it up there. They warded the big camps. IX Mike now stalking the side of Aoi 2000. He has that Nature's Guys going. And I expect to see Dignitas maybe purchase up a gem soon. Because these sentries are not going to be enough. The dust is not going to be enough. I think that they really have to go for a gem if they want to be able to contest some of these fights.
Yeah, that definitely is a good point as well. And getting back to what I was saying before is that the level difference is huge. With these supports being such high level, a level 7 Treant Protector is exactly what you need to be effective. But they're going to set up and look for a Spirit Bomb now on the top lane. They have great vision trying to go on top of Korok. This time they should be able to get a kill, I believe. They bring everyone in at the same time, but they're being a little bit reluctant to commit.
There's the dust. IX Mike definitely in some trouble right now. The Infest is going to go out. There's going to be the Overload coming in as well. IX Mike going to get obliterated. There's nothing they can do about that. Nice gank coming out from Snaking in the side of Dignitas. They wanted Korok. That was the, I guess, main target there. Korok now looking for Way Too Sexy. There's going to be the Swarm and the Geminate attack as well on top of that. Way Too Sexy in some trouble. He has no mana, by the way, and Universe actually body blocked him there. The Unstable Concoction is going to go the Telekinesis as well, but he has time-lapse. He's going to use it. The sentry's on the ground. Doesn't matter. Korok should be able to get out of there just in time. And then, meanwhile, down bottom lane, Dire Structures do get fortified, but it looks like a tier 2 tower is going to be going the way of Liquid, at least for the moment right now. Bulba trying to get in here. Universe and Snaking are here as well. Bear going to get resummoned. They're going to back off, and so they will be able to defend that tower, but again, Korok is just too slippery with the Living Armor, with the, of course, time-lapse on top of that, and when he gets that Lincoln Sphere as well, it's going to be very difficult to kill him. I mean, they're doing very nice chanting of stuns from the side of Dignitas, but it's just not enough at this point.
Yeah, you can see how difficult it is for them to just take down the tree and protector right now. It's, of course, even more so to try and kill that Weaver with all of his versatility and survivability. Middle lane, there's a Smoke Ink.
Oh yeah, Snaking definitely in some trouble. You can see how much damage is going there with the Crystal Nova, with the Illusory Orb. Easy kill for Liquid. TC helping to grab another one, but Fluff gets that kill in the end. And by the way, TC is going for an Orc Malevolence, so there is going to be that silence in play. There's going to be that amplified damage as well on top of that. And Dignitas is starting to run out of the map here. You can see they've only got tier 2s left. There is still 2 tier 1s left for Liquid. They're doing very well for themselves in terms of farm, and I guess Dignitas is really banking on Aoi at this point because he has his Midas going. He's got the Grievel's Greed going as well, but he's only got that Claymore. TC's going to come up here, maybe look to do some harass damage. He doesn't have that Dream Coil. We just saw it used. And now potentially maybe another smoke gank coming out from Liquid. They've got one on the Crystal Maiden. They're playing so effectively. The ganks have been fast and furious, and it doesn't really matter what they do at this point because they've got such a commanding lead. It's really up to Dignitas to make this lead up, this deficit up, I should say, by getting Aoi some farm, getting some kills for Universe and snaking as well.
Yeah, the problem is that they don't have that many great teamfight abilities. When you look at the board, you see that there's the Overgrowth in play. There's also the Dream Coil from Puck, so there's a lot of good control effects on the side of Liquid. Meanwhile, Dignitas are kind of lacking in that department. They need a good initiate from the Spirit Bomb and just obliterate one target off the get-go. And then the follow-up from AUI is what they're relying on. Bottom lane is a
freezing
fight.
field. Fluff doing a lot of damage here, but taking a lot. He's going to fall. Korok already used his time lapse and another kill going for Snake King. That is exactly what they needed there, and they need that more about like 3 or 4 times now. And that was just a misplay from Korok. He time lapsed. It didn't give him any health. I think he was afraid of the gank. They used the dust, and it actually didn't hit him. I think he got a little too carried away. He could have Shikuchi and ran away, and I think he might have been safe, but Fluff came in at the wrong time, decided to use his freezing field, and Snaking actually I don't think took too much damage from it. And of course the Universe was raged up as well. So
yeah, that was a really nice gank from them. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was TC going for that Orchid of Malevolence. It's an amazing item when you're ahead, especially when you know that Storm Spirit is so far behind. This is essentially going to force him to go for a Dream Coil on AUI. He's just going to TP out of here.
Yeah.
This is going to force Storm Spirit to go for a BKB, really. Otherwise, that one item from a Puck who's well farmed is going to entirely shut down that hero, and that really would be unfortunate for Dignitas. So we'll see if Snaking's going to respond properly. It looks like he's actually going to try and build his own Orchid, but this is a bad decision in my mind because it's definitely going to be late. I mean, only having a Robe of the Magi at this point, 19 minutes towards that item, is far, far behind. You can already see what TC has in regards to that, and then he won't have anything to combat that silence. He's going to be rendered really ineffective with these fights if he doesn't adjust his build soon, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he needs to, make a decision here right now. Once he sees maybe the Orchid coming out on TC, but that might be too late. You talked about shutting him down. Meanwhile, Aoi 2000 looking for TC. There goes the stun. Is he going to be able to disjoint that? The phase shift. Oh, beautifully done with that, of course, blink out of there. And they can't get anything done there. I mean, TC just in time. Blink away, then phase shift, disjoint the stun. Excellent. Excellent maneuverability coming out from TC.
Yeah, and that was a really good job. Of course, TC, one of the most veteran Puck players in the scene, played it even when Puck wasn't that prominent back in the day, but now IX Mike is looking to set something up with the Overgrowth in the jungle here.
He wants to go. The Overgrowth going to be too late now. You can see the silence coming out. Snaking in some trouble right now, taking a lot of damage. Nice Hand of God coming up from way too Fluff. Is going to fall first. However, there's going to be the Overgrowth. 1-for-1 trade. There's going to be a steal for that Overgrowth right now. Korok trying to back out, taking some damage. IX Mike getting laid too as well. He's got, of course, that invisibility with that Nature's Guys. The Sentry Ward is down. Mike is going to die. He was trying to, of course, deny himself. 2-for-1 trade. Snaking will buy back, maybe looking for TC. Snaking's on the pursuit, but he's not going to find him. In the end, Dignitas win that engagement, but just barely. And Snaking, of course, having to buy back on top of that.
Yeah, they get 2 kills on support heroes, which is good, but having your Storm Spirit having to buy back, I mean, he's essentially going to be a glorified transport for the Lifestealer now at this stage of the game because he really is poor, and Weaver now also having the Lincoln Sphere completed is amazing for him. We'll see if, I believe one of the games we saw, I don't know if it was Korok, where Weaver went for the BKB and the Lincolns. Really, really safe build, which is an interesting choice. I don't know if it's necessary this game, but it's an interesting idea at the very least, because he does have good damage output still. It's sub 30 minutes, so Weaver can rely on his natural abilities to produce that damage at this stage of the game. They're going to wrap and try and contest this tier 1 top.
Yeah, absolutely. So there will be some TPs back home. You can see the living armor and, of course, the fortification going. Aui's going to pop up that chemical rage, but here comes IX Mike. They need some vision. They don't have any. The overgrowth on to pretty much 3 here. The stun's going to come out, but here comes Snaking looking for Fluff. Fluff might fall in just a moment. In fact, will do so. Korok taking some damage, but dishing it out as well. Double kill going. Aui 2000, 2 for 2 trades so far. Looking for Snaking. Korok just trying to take some damage here and give some damage out. He's got that living armor. He's good to go right now. There's going to be, of course, the spray on the ground, but Snaking really can't do a whole lot. They'll pick up IX Mike. 3 for 2 trade, but Snaking taking so much damage. They're going to get the tower as well. They need to help Snaking out, though. Snaking has taken so much damage. He's just kited Korok around for the longest time right now, but that's going to be it. Korok's going to have to come back home, and then the effects kill on Bulba. So a 4 for 3 trade right now, but Korok looking for Universe here. Universe taking a lot of damage. He's got that rage. The unstable concoction may be coming here in just a moment from Aui. The TP back home. Aui 2000 might do the same thing if necessary. He's got the unstable concoction. There's going to be a bash redone for the side of Universe. The mech as well for the Chen. So some nice pickups here for Dignitas. They lead that fight 4-3, I believe, and they also get a tower out of it. So nicely done for Dignitas, and that provides, actually, Aui 2000 is now leading in net worth with that 3,000 or almost 4,000 gold in the bank too. So
yeah, that was by far the best fight Dignitas have had all game, and it comes back to the fact that their 2 carriers lived throughout the whole fight. They're able to get a bunch of kills in their backs, and now that net worth graph is looking, or chart, excuse me, is looking a lot closer with AUI in the top, and then not too far behind is that lifesteal, and you can see the amount of damage Universe was able to output in those fights as he wasn't the primary target. Korok was off chasing the Storm Spirit, and we just said a couple times already how ineffective that Storm Spirit's going to be because he's such a level, but engaged in the middle lane.
Universe. Oh, big Dream Coil coming from TC right now. Snaking silenced up as well. There's the Overgrowth, the Hand of Gods. Only going to save Snaking for a moment. Universe getting chased now. You can see the rage. The Unstable Concoction. Fluff is going to get pushed back here. Oh, the root. The root from the Bear. Spirit Bear going to town on AUI 2000, but of course, Way2's going to go ahead and send him home, but Way2's now a little bit exposed here. They're not going to dive him. A nice little kill coming out from the side of Liquid. A good gank, getting that kill on Snaking, who's just had such a rough game so far. He is still very far away from his next item. He talked about that Oracle Malevolence. He's got that Robe of the Magi, and that's about it. Fortification going. The Radiance finished up on that Spirit Bear. Looks like Aui's going to be going for an AC. He's pretty close to it at this point, but now he's going to get Frostbitten here. TC blinking in, looking for the Waning Rift. Fogged is Waning Rift, by the way. Frostbite was stolen from him. And now, Unstable Concoction. Oh, boom. Dunked on. Now, Aui in some trouble, as you can see, is going to get rooted up again. Desolator is going to be going for Korok. Here comes Snaking, looking for IX Mike as well. IX Mike in some trouble. He's going to fall in just a moment. Yes, he will. Snaking grabbing the kill there. So 2-for-0 trade. Dignitas get a few revenge kills. They lose their tier 2 tower, however, and Korok, of course, getting that Desolator is exactly what you don't want to have happen. That's going to be a lot of damage coming out from that Weaver.
Yeah, that's 2 towers, and they got 2 kills in response eventually there, but definitely another good sequence for Liquid. And Korok, you mentioned the Desolator out in play now. He was dealing a whole lot of damage, and during that last team fight, if he had focused his efforts on Universe instead of chasing down the Storm Spirit, maybe that would have turned out better for Liquid as well. So I'm still thinking they're way ahead right now. We do see Alchemist getting close to finishing up the AC, which is going to be tremendous for them. I think he's about 50 gold off from it, actually. Yeah, and so that's going to be in play soon, and that's going to at least try and mitigate some of the damage coming out from Korok. But here we see the go on Universe. He's silenced up, and this is trouble.
Yeah, he's going to take some damage. That amplification from the Soulburn doing some nice work there. Just trying to get that, of course, swarm bug off of him. Universe will survive, but just barely. Not using his armlet.
He's losing.
Yeah, that's just a lot of damage that he was taking there. I mean, that is not a squishy hero. That is a life stealer. So it's just like he's not just shrugging that off and saying, you know, whatever. He's like, ouch, this actually hurts a lot. So Korok is dishing out the damage right now with the Desolator, of course, with the Geminate attack on top of that. The Soul Burn coming out, the damage amplification, I should say, from Liquid's TC, as he has that. He's also got a Force Staff, by the way, so positioning from TC is going to be, I mean, outstanding. He's going to be all over the place. He's not going to really be able to get caught too often. Way2, of course, smoked up. He's going to head down to that bottom jungle and just look for some creeps, and he's going to pick a few of them up and throw out a Sentry Ward mid right now. Fog's going to counter ward, as you can see, but now here comes the push. Trying to push out this mid lane and maybe go for a Roshan attempt is Team Liquid, and they might be able to do so pretty soon. Aui 2000 has the Assault Cuirass done, maybe looking for another item soon before they really want to fight now. And the Lincoln Sphere did go, but Snaking now with that Spear Bomb also maybe looking to jump on somebody, but...
Yeah, you can look at Snaking and you see he actually sold his Robe of the Magi, and now is purchasing up an Ogre Club, so that's pretty much what he has to do at this point. I believe that's the right decision. Lifestealer with 1800 in the bank is going to be working towards that Abyssal, which will be an amazing item for him as well. That definitely helped him shut down this Weaver. And if they can get that Lincoln's charge off of him, that is, and get that 2-second stun on him, that's what they're really going to need in the Middle East fights. That's why they're probably going to go dual Abyssal once they have the BKB up on Alchemist. And that is actually a decent ways away, but that's the answer to Weaver right now, being able to keep him still, because he's the main damage source from Liquid. If you can get him out of the fight, then all of a sudden you're looking a whole lot better despite everything that has happened so far in the game. You can definitely win a team fight if you hold down that Weaver.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what they need to do. I mean, he's not going to be super tanky to take down, but if you can take care of him in just a few hits, you might be able to do a nice job with the rest of the team of Team Liquid. But looking at the net worth graph while we've got a second, while they're doing this Roshan attempt, you can see 13,000 for AUI 2,000, then the next 3 are going to the side of Team Liquid. So now it looks like Dignitas, they want to try to go on this here, but this is going to be a pretty big fight, and Roshan's already pretty low. You can see the acid spray going right now. The unstable concoction is going to fly. Meanwhile, there's going to be, of course, the kill going on from TC. Overgrowth is up. You can see Universe is in there. Bubble's going to try to TP out right now. They're looking for more right now. As you can see, Fog trying to TP away. He, in fact, will make it. Bubble will buy back now. Way 2 is here as well. There's only 3 heroes here from Team Dignitas right now. Nice usage of that Frostbite going in as Universe is taking too much damage. The Soul Burn going as well on top of that. Fluff is going to grab the kill on Universe. IX Mike's going to go down to the side of IO 2000. He's going to have to back off here. So in the end, it is a... I believe Bulba went down, so it's a 2-for-2 trade, but that Aegis did go for... who did TC picked up? No, it was Korok picking up the Aegis. Yep. Okay, all right. So
yeah, so Aegis still in play. Still a good fight for Liquid, really. And you could see Korok almost 3-shot that Chen just before he TP'd out. Now AUI's in trouble in the jungle.
Yeah, he doesn't have his Chemical Rage, but Korok's got no True Sight there. No gem or anything like that, so Fluff doesn't have any vision either, so they can't really catch him here. TC... he's trying to push in this middle lane right now, but yeah. And you mentioned, I think, the Weavers having the Aegis and the Aegis still being in play right now, so I think that's the biggest deal. Bulba had to buy back, but not that really important, I think. He did lose his Bear, and it's down for 60 seconds, but still. Liquid looking like they're in a good position here. They've got 7,500 experience lead, 10,000 gold lead as well, so it's their game to lose, I guess.
Yeah, it really is, and they've played a solid game from the get-go, and I think Dignitas' lineup really required them to have a strong laning phase, and it just wasn't there for them. So now they're 100% reliant on getting good fights, but being behind by a decent margin in gold is going to make that increasingly difficult for them. So they need to find Korok somewhere out of position. Korok does play very aggressive style on every single hero he's ever touched, so it's a realistic possibility for Dignitas, but Korok has to be the focus. And you mentioned it 1,000 times, the detection for Dignitas has not been in on their side frequently enough. They haven't had the gem. They've allowed IX Mike to walk up with the Nature's Guys and get perfect overgrowths on their team several times already when they're sieging towers and such, and that just really can't happen. You need to have a sentry down. Someone can't walk in and set up the initiate, because you're really making that Treant Protector into a much better hero than he is by just being a little bit negligent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and I want to talk about the item coming out from the side of Lifesteal real quick. He's got a Sanj up on him right now. And some people would say Sanj and Yasha, but I think that's more likely to be a Heaven's Halberd. I could be wrong, but that's probably the better item choice in this instance. Getting that, I think, evasion is really nice to have. I think that's what a lot of people think about or forget about when you're thinking about the Heaven's Halberd, is that evasion that you grab.
Yeah, it's really good against the Bear, too, so I could definitely see that coming out. And usually if it's a Sanj and Yasha, it would be before the Basher, so that's just normal item progression for Lifestealer. And in this case, it will probably be the Heaven's Halberd. You're right. That's a good point as well. Treant Protector somehow finds way too sexy.
Was way out of position. He was down in that jungle. He's been doing that all game, but they finally, I guess, stalked their own jungle and realized that, well, Chen's been kind of doing some, I guess, illegal things down here in our own jungle. How dare he? So they took care of it, made sure that they paid for their sins on the side of Dignitas. So Wei 2 will be down for another 23 seconds. He is only level 11, but that is still level 2 Hand of God, which is nice to have. He'd rather be obviously 16, but if we look at the hero levels real quick, the only people that are 16 are Universe and Aoi 4. Of course, Dignitas. Liquid has 3 heroes. The Bear, the Puck, and the Weaver as well. So now, speaking of the Weaver, he's roaming on through. He's going for that Eagle Song next, so it looks like he's going to be a Butterfly for Korok, who's pinging out a haste rune. He still has that Aegis of Immortality, and he is in a very good position right now. Just farming away, you can see how much damage he does just to these Ancients alone. It's quite a large amount, and with that Lincoln Sphere, he's I guess, not super susceptible to ganks either on top of that. So killing this Weaver is going to be the #1 priority, I think, for Team Dignitas. But how are you going to do that when TC's initiating so effectively? You know, when you've got IX Mike coming in, getting a nice overgrowth, when you've got a mech on a Crystal Maiden, it's going to be something that's going to be difficult at best.
Yeah, that is definitely the question right now, and we're going to have to see them try and respond here. I think this is a good idea from Liquid. They need to try and press now because Dignitas, if you give them enough time, all of a sudden that Alchemist will outfarm you. And they need to try and cash in and get a Rax while they're a good margin ahead, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, I will have to TP back right now. They will force out the fortification. The Bear going to town, of course, on this set of Tier 3. Korok's going to go ahead and... That's going to be a Lincoln Sphere. So the Lincoln Sphere, the Spell Shield, is still... it did do its job there. They will take the Tier 3 down, no questions asked. I mean, except for the fortification and the TP back, there's not a whole lot Dignitas could have done there, I suppose. And they're getting ready for another assault here. The Bear's going to go in first, and they're going to throw up Korok as well. And living armor on the Bear as well. So Korok still has that Aegis, and even if they bring him down once, this is going to be tough. And the Bear's going to take some damage. Fade Bolt's going to fly, but this Rax is essentially going down for free. Korok, Spell Shield going there. The Bear's going to get taken down here. It can be recreated, I imagine. Korok's going to take some damage here. And the Unstable Concoction will hit him, but they'll take down a melee Rax for pretty much free. There's nothing really Dignitas could have done there in this position. So a rough task for them to be able to climb back into this one. But with that melee Rax down, it's going to be even harder.
Yeah, that is a really strong base break team because of the fact they have the Bear with Demolish, and then they also already have the Desolator in play on the Weaver. So it really is a lot of damage onto buildings, and they're able to take that down much more quickly than anticipated. Gank on the Bear up top. They should be able to kill this Bear off for the second time, so they'll know he's on cooldown. This could be an opportunity for Dignitas to try and find something, but there's no Roche available. The lanes are pushed back way too far, so it doesn't look like they'll be able to actually get anything other than the 300 gold from the Bear out of that little encounter, but that definitely is a nice little bonus to them right now.
Yeah, Korok's going to go ahead and lose that Aegis, but in return he'll pick up the Butterfly pretty much at the same time, so he's like, whatever, I got evasion now, it doesn't really matter. So Weaver looking really strong. He's got plenty of damage. He's level 20 right now. He is 2 levels ahead of the, of course, Alchemist, who's level 18. And this is an Alchemist, by the way, with a Midas and Grievel's Greed on top of that and some good farm. So this is a tough scenario to be in for Dignitas right now. Looks like Liquid's grouping together. They might want to go for a smoke or something like that. Looks like they just want to defend this Tier 1 tower mid, which is pretty much at full health, by the way, despite taking some damage earlier, I believe. Of course, IX Mike can heal that up with Living Armor, which is max level at this point. They're going to go ahead and try to take down these creeps here in the mid lane and make sure they go for a push here. But Liquid is looking to fight this, and I don't know. This is a tough move from Dignitas. Maybe really the only move they have. They're actually backing right now, and Korok's going to maybe just Shikuchi up as well. They're looking for an engagement that they can grab, but it's going to be tough. They do have a BKB on IE 2000s. There is that. Snaking almost has his. Mithrheimer is the only thing that he needs left, which is a few, 1,000 or so gold away. So right now, Dignitas just staring across mid. Liquid's like, all right, we'll defend this, even though it's a Tier 1. Not a big deal. They're doing a nice job of pushing it back out again, and we're just waiting, I suppose, at this point.
Yeah, Dignitas were a long way away from their base there. That could have been an opportunity for Liquid to try and pounce on them, but this time around, Dignitas had the vision, and Liquid weren't going to take any risks. IX Mike still has to walk in for that perfect initiation with the overgrowth, and he wasn't going to be able to get it off seamlessly, that engagement. So it was definitely a good attempt by Dignitas to come out as a group, maybe find a tower, but the defense there from Liquid, they can't force it, because if they die and lose 2 heroes there, they all of a sudden lose a second Rax. We talked about how fast they push as well, and that would be a horrible situation for Dignitas in the opening game of this best of 5 series. So they don't really want to take big risks. They still have the potential to win a team fight. They just have to kill Korok.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the problem, isn't it? It's just killing Korok at this point. I want to mention Universe. He did grab that SNY, much to my dismay. It means that we are in fact wrong, which has happened before. But, well, so Universe going to go for that SNY, get a little bit of everything. He's got that Basher done as well. He had that for a while. And speaking of Bashers, Alchemist will pick his up. So they will have both Bashers now completed. And so I guess the Abyssal Blade is next for the side of IE 2000 and, of course, for Universe right now. And it looks like they were trying to break into the ranged racks for Liquid, but now they're going to back off. They realize that Roshan's available in about 2 minutes' time, a minute and a half right now, actually. So they could just wait for the next Roche, be very passive about it. And despite the fact that Alchemist is, in fact, leading the net worth chart, I mean, you look at the graphs here, it's 10,000 experience lead and a 15,000 gold lead for Liquid right now. The experience is not going to mean too much. I mean, it means something still, but I think the 15,000 gold lead is really the indication that Liquid is firing on all cylinders right now. They're going to go ahead and smoke up. They're going to look for a potential gank here in the jungle. It's 4 versus 5 if they catch everybody out here, which they definitely can do. Snaking is way out of position right now, as well as, of course, AUI 2000. He has that Shadow Blade, but I'm sure they'll have detection. And it looks like they're just going to smoke up and maybe head to the Roche Pit or down to that bottom Ancient Stack or something along those lines and try to push out bottom here. But I thought they were going to go to that jungle. They're not going to go up ground, or they're not going to have to walk up ground here. They're going to have to just go ahead and look. This is a really, really good position for them to be in. Nature's Guys is going to go Ice Mike. They want to run in there. There's the Bear, the Crystal Nova as well. Big fight, way too sexy. Here comes Snaking. He's going to get sent back home at the wrong time, unfortunately. The Dream Coil is going for the side of TC. Universe taking a lot of damage from that Bear. The Root as well. TC's going to grab that kill. Meanwhile, Korok grabbing another one. Fogged is going to go down. Double kill for TC. Buyback now coming in from the Lifestealer. Aoi 2000 rooted in place. The Bear doing some damage. There's the BKB going through. Korok looking for something, looking for anything. Aoi 2000 just going to go down, as you can see. Korok taking so much damage. GG is going to be called. It's just too much. Liquid is outputting too much damage. They're doing too much damage here. And Dignitas, they can't get anything done right now at all. They just go down too quickly from Korok, from his right-click damage, from the Bear, even from TC. And Dignitas, they've got to maybe just regain their composure and head to game 2 right now, as GG will be called. And Team Liquid takes this pretty handedly, despite the score being 20-18, and of course the Alchemist being one of the most farmed heroes in the game. You got to hand it to Liquid for playing superbly.
Yeah, I think there are 3 major things that set Dignitas back. 1, they have to win out that safe lane. They had 4 heroes up on the top half of the map, and they still didn't get free farm on that Alchemist. 2, they didn't push enough early on here. They only took down 2 towers the whole game with a Jen on their team, as well as, I just said, that odd distribution of heroes, so they should have been able to take that top lane down. And the 3rd one, of course, is Storm Spirit, falling behind. It's a hero that requires a lot of farm to be effective, and he just got shut down early and often, and that happens a lot with Snaking. It's do or die. It's really good performance or really bad performance. He's very dynamic and polarized in his games in and out, so really look to rectify those with Dignitas on the next game. Maybe a less greedy lineup, maybe a middle that's more of a teamfight facilitator as opposed to a hero that needs more farm, and we'll see if they can rectify that. There's plenty of opportunity to come back into the series, of course, but Liquid looked great in that first game.
Yeah. I think if Liquid can play the way they played I guess the last 3 games against Dignitas, they can definitely take this series pretty handily. But there is still 2 games remaining for them if they can win those. But of course, it is a best of 5, so Dignitas not nearly done just yet. So stick around, guys. We'll be in the next game in a moment. Check out AmericanDotaLeague.com for all your American Dota League information. If you enjoyed our casting, my name is Mont. With me tonight is NY John. You can follow me at twitter.com/MontDota2. And you can follow John at twitter.com/NYJohnTV. And we're going to jump into game number 2 in just a moment, guys. So we'll be right back.